So here we are, folks. We've just come to the end of the first Brave project. Check this out over InnerFight.com/Brave project to find out what it's all about in all the detail, and you can track everything that's gone on. Essentially, what we did, we took this guy on my left, Talal, a triathlete enthusiast, let's call him. We took control of every part of his life. We looked at 101 different factors, and over a 3-month period have been working with him. He has been trying incredibly hard, excellent dedication over the 3-month period, and we've got him to a stage that we're going to explain today. I want to introduce the guy on his left who has been his coach for the last 3 months, the InnerFight endurance coach, Neil Flanagan, who is going to start off by telling us what this gentleman on my direct left was like 3 months ago. Neil, what can you tell us about Talal?
Okay, so we, as Marcus says, it was a 12-week project, and we really looked to take over every aspect of trainings, of Talal's training. So from his programming, from the way he ate, from tracking his sleep, waking pulse, obviously his body composition. So Talal was an enthusiast without a lot of experience when we picked him up. Had done a couple of short distance races and was looking to do some Olympic distance races and possibly looking into the future, maybe a 70.3 or full Ironman. So that's where we came from. As I say, it was really just for me. I wanted to sort of have a look and see how we could influence Talal's performance by changing some of his diet, by tracking the way he slept and how much. So that's kind of the broad concept.
So where was he day one, 3 months ago? Where was he when you got hold of him? Give us some of his stats and what. I don't want to say what state you found him in, but what state you found him in.
He was in. I think by his own admission, his diet was fairly patchy.
Talal, can you confirm that?
Absolutely. So messy.
Training somewhat unstructured. I think that's probably and for a lot of people who are new to the sport, they don't have a plan. They just kind of go out and join team rides and team swims and all the rest of it. It's just not a lot of structure to their training. So that was really what we were trying to start with.
So day one, he gets in here, stick him on the body analysis machine.
Yep.
What do we find out?
Okay, well, so I guess, do you want the before and after, or should we?
Let's go to the before and then we'll hit the after.
Okay, so we found on day one, he weighed 95 kilos.
How tall?
178.
178 tall, 95 kilos.
And was carrying 24.5 kilos of body fat.
24.5 kilos of junk in the trunk that you just did not need, right?
Only.
Only. Okay. 3 months later, where have we ended up?
Okay, so where we've ended up, we're now. So the weight is less. It's quite significantly less. But for me, the sort of the interesting things were how much body fat has actually gone, and there's over the 7.5 kilos of body fat that's just disappeared.
Wow, mate! Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm
really happy for that.
Yeah, that's an incredible effort.
And the cool thing about it as well is that we've made some changes to his diet and put him on a very much a low-carb, high-fat diet, which I think a lot of people are talking about at the moment. And actually, despite the fat loss, he's actually gained 2 kilos of muscle as well,
wow.
which is really cool. So, we've had him in here training twice a week in the gym, lifting weights. And for me, you look at the output, and he's lighter, he's stronger, he has more muscle, and he's just not carrying around weight that he doesn't need to carry. So that's...
Tell us, Talal, obviously a lot of probably quite major changes in your diet. You've lost 7 kilos. How did you deal with all the changes? I mean, you've walked in, you've met Neil, and he said, "This is what we're going to do."
Yeah. To be frank, at the beginning, I was a bit overwhelmed.
Right.
I used to eat a lot of carbs, especially bread.
Of course, just like everyone else
That was
does.
shocking. Zero carbs at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just to get used, but I got dizzy the first couple of days.
Right.
I started getting used pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it becomes more of a lifestyle.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you stick to it,
Absolutely.
So that's what I did. It was not easy.
Yeah.
But I got used to it.
Awesome. So talk about, that's one side of it. He's lost a load of weight. Talk about performance.
Okay. So we had the other measures that we wanted to look at were, we had some aeroscans tests done pretty much on day one.
Right.
Which showed, again, and we'll publish the results for everyone to see, but ultimately it showed what we thought would be the case, where Talal had very little fat-burning capacity. Okay?
Right.
All the time he was training, he was just burning carbs, because he's feeding himself with carbs all the time.
Common mistake in endurance athletes especially.
And look, and for long-distance racing, that's the limiter. It's like if you have a certain amount of calories that you can use, and once they're gone, they're gone.
They're gone.
So you have to measure your output to make that work.
Right.
And so we had the second set of aero scans that came back yesterday. The results absolutely astonishing. And I guess to put some numbers on it, we were looking at this sort of the original set of scans, and Talal we think would have been able to do a half Ironman in somewhere in the region of 6 hours to 6:15.
Right.
Looking at the aero scans that we had, they're sort of hot off the press from yesterday. You'd be looking at somewhere between 5 hours and 5 hours.
Wow. Wow. A lot of difference. What was the reaction, Talal? 3 months ago, you were in the aeroscan, on the aeroscan test with the guys. You've been and done it this week. What's the reaction from the people there and the difference that they've seen? They must have given you some interesting feedback as well.
After the first week, you mean?
When they've seen your results now after 3 months.
Oh, yeah. Not many people saw the results.
Okay.
Except because I got the results just yesterday.
Okay, but the guys at the clinic, were they shocked?
They were very amazed, to be frank. I mean, even myself. I was surprised. I mean, I was first time I did the Aeroscan.
Yeah.
I was really struggling doing the tests. Yesterday it went much easier.
It was nice and easy.
And they had to increase, I mean, the intensity even more.
Wow.
Compared to the first time.
Wow.
But they were really surprised with everything shifted upwards.
Yeah.
I mean, and
to put numbers on that, I was looking at the sort of the level of intensity that we thought that I thought Talal would be able to do a 70.3
yeah.
pace at. And essentially the power output for the same calorie expenditure has gone up from 150 to 185 watts on the bike, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's probably more than 20% extra power that he can deliver on his bike for the same for the same calorie expenditure. And he's sort of 6-7 kilos lighter, so the time, you know.
So he's going a lot faster, yeah.
And running, same thing. It's like 2.5 kilometers an hour faster.
Wow.
For the same effort, which is just mind-blowing, really.
So we've got his body composition, we've seen the change in weight, we've got some real qualitative data from the aero scans. Let's talk a little bit about the strength work he's done. Where did we start at and where have we got to in 3 months?
Yeah, okay, so numbers-wise on the strength, and Talal probably won't remember this from the earlier days, but his first squat session, I think he came in and sort of wobbled a bit under about 40 or 50 kilos.
True.
Very true.
Deadlifted, I think, maybe 80. Actually, stronger than most that we see. And had no mobility challenges, which was great.
Yeah.
I know last week I watched him squat 90 kilos like it was a paperweight.
From 40 kilos, 3 months later he can squat 90 kilos, mate. That's fantastic.
And deadlifted 140 kilos again.
Wow.
1.5 times more than his body weight now.
Fantastic.
Just ripped it off.
How do you feel, Talal, strength-wise? So the strength work you've been doing with Neil, does your body feel a lot different? I mean, are daily things easier for you?
To be frank, I feel less floppy than before.
That's a great way to put it.
Especially when running.
Yeah.
I didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
Now I feel more balanced. More
amazing.
firm.
Amazing.
Even swimming and cycling.
Fantastic.
I don't have that pain in my muscles anymore. I mean,
so you've lost muscle pain, you feel better, and you don't feel floppy.
And more balanced.
And more balanced.
And faster.
And faster. This list just kind of goes on and on and on, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So you've done 3 months with us on the Brave Project. Neil's taken you to a certain level. You've completed a couple of events within that 3 months. What's the difference now of where you're setting your goals to when you started? Is it Ironman? Is it multiple Ironmans? Or is it just you want to go faster on that shorter distance course?
Frank, I mean, I want to do longer distance.
Right.
You know, so I think mostly the project it really helped to build a very proper base for me.
Right.
Especially for someone starting
from scratch, yeah.
Okay, so my goal is a long distance.
Right.
I'm not doing a full Ironman yet.
Okay.
I'm aiming for the half Ironman by the end of this year.
Fantastic.
Here in Dubai. So maybe a year after a full Ironman.
Full Ironman could be on the cards.
Building endurance, you know, it takes long time.
It does take. But do you must feel now that you've kind of got the tools and the outlook is completely different on how to attack this thing and armed with probably a big tool bag that you didn't have when you came in here on the first day.
It was like an intensive course.
It was like an intensive course.
Yeah, not only triathlon, I mean, even muscle endurance.
Yeah.
And, many different aspects of the sport.
Amazing.
I learned them during this project. I had no clue about them, to be fair.
Amazing. Well, Talal, we want to thank you for getting involved in the Brave Project, and obviously we want to thank Neil as well for all his time and coaching. And I know you're going to stay with us, and I hope everyone keeps tracking your progress. And I know you're with the guys over at Tri Dubai and the support there, and we definitely look forward to seeing you perhaps completing an Ironman in 2015.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Folks, that's an inspirational story. This is the Brave Project. You can check it out, InnerFight.com/Brave Project. No matter if you're a novice triathlete or you're a triathlete that's reached a certain level, or even an endurance athlete that wants to run ultramarathons or do some long distances on the bike, Neil takes these guys from the start all the way through, looking at nutrition, rest and recovery, getting stronger, and of course one of the main factors where we see a lot of issues is the actual programming of the general training, whether it's swim, bike or run. Check it out, Brave Project at InnerFight.com/Brave Project. Thanks a lot, guys, and look forward to seeing you back soon.
Thanks, Marcus.
Cheers. Soon.